Hello. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good afternoon, sir.
I'm sorry for coming to us. Is the issue of this failure of electricity. My gadgets were down. But as I'm talking with you now, I had to collect somebody's power bank to make sure that I'm in the class. I'm sorry for coming late to the class. It is very, very unlike me. I don't like it and I don't encourage it. So, like we said the last time we met, that this course is on culture and it is on theory. You know, in fact, so many things have happened to me between last week and this week that we met. And I said I was going to send the material. The last day my laptop worked was that last class we had on Friday. Up to now, I've not been able to find solution to it. But find way around about it. We also speak with the coordinator. If there's any way they can help us with the timing of the exam so we can be able to cover what we are doing, what we have to do. Let's just look briefly. You know, the other time, last week we met, we just look at a brief overview of culture. So I want to see if we can go a step further than where we stop. You understand? Because looking at culture, there is elite culture, there is what we call high culture, there is elite theory of culture, like I told us, and we have what we call subculture, which is a culture that is, developed out of the main culture. If you look at what is happening nowadays, they will tell you there's nothing called abnormal. That what we call up now is what we call neo-normal. Have you heard of that before? Hello, have you heard of that word neo-normal? You can unmute your mic. Have you heard of the word neo-normal before? You can unmute your mic, please. So let me hear from you. I think there are only 2 people in the class.
Yes, sir.
That is Lamia Rosemary Ape.
Yes, sir.
Well, other people, okay, we have Chiamaka Okoye now. Okoye is just joining. Lamia, how many of you were in the class before now?
Before now?
Yeah.
Was it the last one we had?
No, today. It's only 2 of you that were in the class.
Yeah, it was just me and Rosemary before.
Okay. And this class is about 15 or thereabout. Because
yes,
we
sir.
have
About 18 or so.
So, okay. Because whatever I take now, I didn't even look at the number when I was saying I'm going to speak with the coordinator of the program to see if we can just a bit extend the time of the exam so that will enable us to cover some ground before we can write exam. And now we are
Sir, sorry, I
4
was
in the
going to
class.
ask, the exam, is it online?
Well, I will confirm from because we are scattered everywhere, I think it will be online too. But I will still confirm from the coordinator of the program. Is that gotten?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like I was saying, because in a class when we have 18 students, and now we have only 3 in the class, and I'm not sure if the whole 18 will be writing the exam. The last class we had last week, I think you were about 6 students in the class. So I don't know what will happen now. So I don't know what will happen because in fact, we are ourselves here. I've not been able to send the question for the PGD students that will be starting the exam on Monday. It's so devastating when you don't have a system you are using. You know, and it's so bad. It's as bad as that. Okay. What do I do? Because okay, some of them are coming in now. Daniela is in out again. Daniela, Chiamaka Okoye, Rosemary Ape. Okay, let me just say something. Whatever we can say, at least you don't look as if this man decided not to come to class. Let me just say this briefly: that the family is the basic social institution in a community or society, and it's important for the transmission of culture. Family is seen as a basic institution in the society, and it is important for transmission of culture. I believe you all will agree with me because family is the first place where every individual or most individual, don't let me say every individual, is a place where most individuals grew up. Some people, they grew up in the house, in the home. You get it. Some people, they lost their parents. But the truth is that they still grew up within a family. And the culture of that family is being transmitted. So that tells you that family is a basic social institution in a community or society. And it's important for the transmission of culture. Communities are an extension of families. Do you agree with me? That for me, community is an extension of families. Because by the time you put 10, 20, 30 families together in a place, it is no longer called a family again, but it will be called what? A community. So when you are being told that community is an extension of family, it is true. So community is an extension of families in the same way as societies are an extension of communities. Who can explain that to us? That communities are extensions of family and societies are extension of communities. Can anybody explain that to us, please? Can anybody please unmute your mic if you want to talk? That community is an extension of families and societies are extension of communities. Can anybody explain that to us, please? Anybody? Anybody in the house, please? I will call name. Oh yeah, Daniela, can you explain that to us? Because I see all of you are my students here. Daniela, on mute. Daniela, on mute. Daniela.
Hello, sir. I'm having network issues.
But I can hear you now. You are talking now. I can hear you. You on mute again. Okay, let me quickly just continue with that. Madam Lami, can you explain that to us? That communities are extension of families, and families are extension, sorry, communities are extension of families, while societies are extensions of communities. What do you understand by that?
But that thing is too long.
It's not long at all.
Let me just attempt, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure of what you say. You say community is an extension of
Families.
sorry, extension of family.
Yes.
I think it's
and societies are extensions of communities. Oh yeah. I'll see so.
just trying to say be feeling in this family is not made up of one person and it has to be an extended family. Sorry?
I'm hearing you.
Hello?
I'm hearing you,
Can you hear
madam.
me?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
So I think I think you get community from the family. That is just what you're trying to say. A family makes up a community.
Not a family. Families.
Okay, families, yes, families.
Families will make up community, while communities will make up a society. In other words, community is coming together of many families, and society is coming together of many communities. That is just the meaning. That for you to have a community, it is going to be a combination of many families. And for you to have a society, it is a combination of many communities. Meaning that the components of societies are communities, and the components of communities are families. Do you understand that now?
Yes, sir.
So that is just the meaning. So we said communities are extensions of families in the same way as societies are extensions of communities. A particular community and a particular society develop and pass on similar norms and values. Now, we said the family is very important for the transmission of culture. And I could remember last week when I was saying this, I said, this is done through what we call socialization, which is a lifelong learning. Socialization is a process that continues till till you die. You continue to learn, and the culture of the society is being transmitted, through the older members of the society. Because as you are now, maybe you are not married. By the time you get married today, you will see something you have never seen before. Then you begin to learn as a married man or as a married woman. That is another level of learning. I'm not even talking about academics now, but I'm talking about the culture of the society. Now, because you are still dating, you still have a boyfriend, you are not yet married. By the time you get to the house, the man will want to, live as the man in the house, and you have to live as the woman in the house. Yes, if you want to follow the culture, there are some culture we see as this culture is barbaric, but then that is the way they live. The man there, we advocate that men should be of help to their wives now. But if you look at the way our parents live, our grandparents live in those days, the wife is there doing the cooking because that is the role. Even when you are growing up, if I ask you what you were being taught by your parents, they taught you as a woman that you need to be submissive to your husband. Mommy will tell you once you're in the kitchen, the female children join the mommy in the kitchen. Why the boys join the father on the farm? So they have distributed the responsibility of everybody, giving the male children the work that requires strength, giving the female children the work that requires staying at home. You understand? And they are pointing to the male children that you are the head, and you are telling the female children that you need to be submissive. And that is what the society has given to us. And no wonder if you ask any woman, what are you looking for in a man? What is going to give to you will be something that is higher than her own. She wants a man who is up there that she will be looking up to. And that is what the culture has transmitted to us. That is how we have learned. If you go abroad, if you go to develop Western world, that is their own culture, and that is what we are bringing to our own culture, killing our own culture. If you look at it, the submissiveness we are talking about is entrenched in our culture, and that is the way the man was brought up. And if you are trying to question his authority in the house, then you begin to have problem. You are trying to bring in a culture that is alien to the one with which he was brought up. There's going to be a problem. That's why you have many broken marriages when the woman wants to, be in competition with the husband. Remember, this is Africa. And we are now substituting another culture for our own culture, forgetting that is their culture. That is the way their great-great-great-grandfather, many generations, that was the way it has been. And now you want to kill our own culture here and say, okay, no, you have to change. We have to change it. You are forgetting that we said that culture is dynamic, one, and culture is relative. One man culture is not the same as another man culture. And nothing will make another man culture inferior to another's culture. But you are seeing the foreign culture as superior to your own culture. And that is what we call xenocentrism. I told us last week, you want to be like other people. You want to bring in foreign culture into your culture. And that is what is causing the problem. If women can go back to what it used to be, give the needed respect, you will see we have more peace in the home. I'm not saying men should treat their wife as if they are slaves, but women should not try to also contest the leadership of the family with their husband, because that is the culture. So like I said to us, that a particular community and a particular society develop and pass on similar norms and values. That is what those people inherited. That is the culture we inherited. It was passed down to us. Yeah. So we said culture influences the family, the community, and society, basically because all norms, values, beliefs, including language, are passed on during interaction between their members. That was how we learned. The language, the values, the beliefs. Values are what we considered as good in the society, what the society has accepted in the society. It is believed that good name is better than gold and silver. So anybody that is not working towards the good name of his family has jettisoned the value, what the society holds in high esteem. Whatever the society or a society is owing in high esteem are the values of that society. One of the key values of society in those days in this Western world, that a child must maintain virginity until marriage. It is a value. It is a value. In those days, if a man gets married to a lady and after their first night and discover that the lady is not a virgin, they will send an empty matchbox to the mother. That what you have given to us is an empty, is empty, is void. What you give to us is not whole. Or they will send a keg of half palm wine to the parents. That what you have given to us is not full, and it's a big shame. They can return that girl back to her parents and collect all the bridal price they brought. That is a culture, part of the culture, and is a value. But that value is gradually going into, extinction. Some people, they say, what is it? In fact, some will tell you they cannot marry a virgin, you understand? And that's why we have so many unwanted pregnancy, bastards in our neighborhood, the lady will not be sure we impregnated her. And those days, it is a sign of respect and dignity in the society. So it is being passed down. Belief, norms, values, including language, are passed on during interaction between their members. Remember, the definition we gave according to Sidewell Taylor said that culture is a complex whole which includes knowledge, belief, art, morals, laws, customs, and any other capabilities acquired by man as a member of society. That is Taylor 1871. Remember that. So that is what society, that is what culture is. It is being passed down from one generation to another generation. It is important to note that culture is not stagnant. Like we said, when Frank asked a question last week, that what do I mean by that? What is anything like dynamism or dynamics of culture? Culture is not static. You know, I told him that culture is not static. It's not static. It is dynamic. It's not stagnant. We have seen so many changes even in our own culture that is different from the way our parents, were doing it. It is important to know that culture is not stagnant. As we have emphasized in the above section, culture is always changing. That is what we call cultural dynamism. Is the secret of survival of a society. Cultural dynamism. It's a pity it's not in the class now. You will have seen that it's already in my notes, which I said I'm going to send. I'm reading now from my tablet. One thing that is helping me, that I use my tablet for my lectures. I put my notes in my tablet, and there is a bit power, and I collected power bank still charging my tablet. I connect my laptop, my power bank, my tablet to the power bank, and at the same time I connect my phone to the power bank. So the two are on the power bank. So, like I said, it is important to know that culture is not stagnant. As you have emphasized in the above section, culture is always changing. Cultural dynamism is the secret of survival of society. Cultural change is the people's way of adapting to a new situation created by nature or often by people themselves. Changes could come by nature or by the people themselves, and there is need for us to adapt. So that means culture keeps changing. If you look at the society, like I told us last week, that the full aspect of this course is society, culture, and theory. If you have started from the society, we will have seen different. Maybe I will take you into that during our next class. If you look at the society, the society started from hunting and gathering society, and their instrument for that period is, so crude, stick, and they were picking, hunting and gathering. And from that, we move to horticultural society. We move to what's it called now? Domestication society, where animal has been domesticated. From there we move to agricultural society, and in each of these society, they were adapting as the changes were coming. So that tells you, as they move from hunting and gathering, there was a change. That means the culture has changed. That means there is what we call cultural dynamism. From hunting and gathering, they move to horticulture. From horticulture, they move to agriculture. And things are changing. The society, the culture was also changing. So that is the dynamism we are talking about. Culture is not stagnant. It changes. Do we understand that? Please, you can unmute your mic. We are just 5 in the class. I believe we comport ourselves. The 4 of you can unmute your mic, please. Yes, that is nice. So I can hear feedback from you. So as you can see, the culture is not static. It is dynamic, and we need to change with the way things are. Even with the advent of technology, we can see that a lot of things are changing. I use the example of changing from IBM typewriter to computer. If there's anyone who has refused to change with the technology, the person will be lagging behind. If there's anyone who has refused to change, with change in technology from IBM, the person will be lagging behind. The person will still be buying fluid, correcting fluid. The person will still be, you understand, once you make mistake, you have to tear the paper. But with your computer, you can just press Control Delete. Everything is gone. You don't need any photocopier. You don't need, and the work you have done, you have saved it on the system. Many years to come, you can retrieve it. So that is the changes we are talking about, and we have to change. We have to move with change, so that we not be living in this. We not be living in the Stone Age. So we said in modern societies, the school has likewise become another major institution influencing behavior of young people and young adults. The education received through the interaction of learners with teachers and communities in learning institutions has a great influence on youth, because the education is also coming with its own culture. If you look at agents of socialization, I mentioned socialization during the time, that the way we learn in our society is through socialization. And who can mention the agent of socialization for us here? Agent of socialization. How many of them do we have? Name them. Agents of socialization. Can anybody help us out? Agents of socialization. Anybody?
Hello, sir.
Okay, I'm hearing.
We have families,
Family,
peer groups, peer groups.
Okay.
The media.
The media, yes.
Yeah. Schools, markets.
We have the primary among them is family. We have peer group. We have education or schools. Then we have mass media. Then we also have religion. You have religion, you have mass media. You have peer group, you have the family, you have the school. These are agents of socialization. These are agents of socialization. And that is how culture has been transmitted to us. Remember, we said culture is the total way of life. And religion is also part of culture. So it is through these that we learn and know what is expected of us, because there is expectation. In those days when we're growing up, it is expected that once a child sees an elderly person, that child must greet. But the reverse is the case in this generation. Some of the children, they just pass by you, they won't expect you to greet them first. In those days, why children of those days, people of my generation, why many of us could not misbehave, is because it is not only your parents in those days that will discipline you. In your neighborhood, any parent can discipline you, and you dare not get home and report to your parents. Because if they discipline you and you get home and report to your parents, they will take you back to that dad or that woman that beat you, and they will tell them that they didn't beat you well. That was why you got home, you were able to report. And they will give them cane to beat you again. So in those days, children belong to the community, not to their parents alone. So you cannot misbehave anywhere, even when your parents are not around. But nowadays, even if anybody discipline, I'm saying in the society, even in the church, I know somebody who's the teacher in the children's class told the child that what she was wearing was not good. This girl got home and told the parents. The parents had the effrontery to go and meet the teacher. That what is your business with what my daughter was wearing? You are just there to teach them the Bible,
Yes,
nothing more. You get it? That nothing more. It is none of your business what my son or what my daughter is wearing. So you can see that is why the children of nowadays are not properly trained. They are not properly trained because they are not getting it well. And many parents are contributing to it. And in the later on, they be themselves that will blame, they will have to blame themselves. So, like I said, it is the community, not only the parents, that train up a child. Because the community, the society has expectation that is being shared. Remember, we said that culture is shared. So there's an expectation from the community, which all the adults in the community are aware of. So they know what is expected of every child, every young adult, every girl. Once they see a child, with a guy working in a secret place, they will quickly report to the parents because they know it is against the value of the society. And they know that that girl will soon bring shame upon the family. You get it? But nowadays, even if you report a child to the parent, they will say, what is your business? And do you know what your own children are doing where they are? You get it? Or is it not nowadays that parents are even telling their children to go out, to go and make money? So they are killing the culture that was once, held in high esteem. And that is why our culture is gradually going down. That's why our culture is gradually going down. So we need to, do something about it. We said something the other time that there is what we call culture change. We said culture is not what? It's not static. Culture is not static. Culture is not static. There is dynamism. There is cultural dynamism. And we said culture being a way of life is dynamic and always changing. It changes because people are in contact with other cultural systems. Remember last week we talked about these three concepts that we mentioned last week. We talk about cultural. We talk about what do I call it now? That when you have contact with other culture, I'm coming. I've forgotten these three concepts I mentioned last week. Now, I was just teaching that cultural. You said what?
Authorization.
Huh?
Authorization.
I didn't hear that.
Acculturation.
We talk about, thank you. We talk about acculturation and
Assimilation.
assimilation. Those three. So it is as a result of coming in contact with other culture that you bring in new culture into your culture. And it is not culture, we call them traits. You bring in another trait into your culture. And that is how we have cultural dynamism. That's how we have little changes in the culture. So culture being a way of life is dynamic and always changing. It changes because people are in contact with other cultural systems. It changes through the exchange of material things, knowledge, and belief. It also changes as society develops new behavior and adapt socially, economically, and technologically. These changes in culture lead to change in outlook, possessions, and general behavior. In one sense, cultural change is what we call development. In one sense, cultural change is what we call what? Hello?
Someone's background is disturbing now.
Okay, that means maybe you have to mute again. Let's mute again. Okay. I've been enduring that anyway because I was the one who said you should unmute. I've been enduring. So let's mute again. So I was saying something here that these changes in culture lead to changes in outlook, possessions, and general behavior. In one sense, cultural change is what we call development. What we call cultural change is development. The acceleration of population growth has happened as a result of major social and technological changes. Because if you look at it, people no longer die the way they used to die as a result of technological advancement in health, and as a result of other technological advancement in vehicles and other kind of advancements. So as a result of this, people no longer die as they used to die. In those days, people are dying of chickenpox, malaria, all and view. In those days, people are just dying. There is what they call Odanje in Igbo language. They say this child now, Odanje, she has died 7 times and she keep coming. Thank God for technology that made us to realize that there's nothing like Odanje. And there's nothing like Abiku in the Yoruba parlance. There's nothing like Abiku. What was causing Odanje in those days were what? Were the ignorance of parents. Ignorance of parents. When a man and a woman sees themselves, I love you, bam, bam, pregnancy don't come. Without checking their genotype. And what was causing that Odanje, what they call Odanje then, was sickle cell. They were giving birth to SS children, and that was what they were calling Abiku and Odanje. But since the advancements in technology, and we were made to understand that 2AS cannot marry themselves, and when was the last time you heard of Odanje or Abiku? Because technology advancement has helped us, and that has brought about development. So that's why we said that, in one sense, cultural change is what we call development. The acceleration of population growth has helped as a result of major social and technological changes. In the 20th century, the entire population has more than tripled the result, has more than tripled the rate being higher in the poor countries than in the rich ones. This is a result of the control of many epidemics. Like I said, as a result of gaining control over epidemics, the population is just increasing. Advancements in health sector has reduced, deaths. Some people in those days, why they give birth to many children is because they will tell you, we don't know how many of them will survive to old age when they will be able to take care of their parents. So that's why they continue to give out to as many as they can, so that at least they will have some of them that will be left to take care of them and to give them the fitting burial. That was why many people were giving birth to so many children in those days. And with the advancement in technology and in health too, in that sector, we now see that the population has tripled because of the advancements in health and because they have gained control over many epidemics, diseases, huge increase in our capacity to transport food, and great improvements in our general level of well-being. So these are changes that are taking place, and this has also encouraged increase or population increase. The average standard of living of human beings is much higher than what it used to be in the past. And this is what has allowed us to live longer and produce more. There has been much movement from one country to another, and from rural area to the cities, etc. Elements of culture are transferred from society to society through direct or indirect contact among peoples, among groups. This process is known as diffusion. It's known as diffusion. Even in biology, we talk about diffusion and osmosis. Hope you still remember your secondary school biology. or general science. So the process is known as diffusion. Different people meeting together and they are exchanging traits of their culture. Because of such development, no culture is exactly the same as it was in the past. Lami and Chidima, Oluwalami,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
have you eaten amala before?
Yes.
Is it part of your food?
No, sir.
But because you have contact with people from that side, and now it is what you eat, it is what you taste. And some of us who are not from the east, north, some people like eating tuwo, although we have the Yoruba tuwo. Tuwo is not part of Yoruba's food anyway. It's food from Tapa and from the north. But many people, they eat tuwo. You know, like some of us that came from the west, they eat fiyo here in Enugu. They eat abacha. They eat okpa. And by the time they go back to the west where they came from, and they see somebody selling abacha, they will buy. They will ask, what is this you are doing? It is very sweet, so it's so delicious and nutritious. They begin to advertise and evangelize the food to other people. As a result of different people from different cultural background meeting together and exchange different traits of their culture. And that is the way culture are being, diffused. And from the statement I just made now, that there's no singular culture that is what it used to be in the past. If I give you a question like that no culture is exactly what it used to be, is exactly what it used to be in the past, discuss. You should know what to write. As a result of diffusion, as a result of acculturation, as a result of assimilation, different people have come to borrow different traits of other people's culture. Even Nigerian culture is not what it used to be as a result of diffusion, either directly or indirectly. Either you met the person or you watch on TV or you watch on the internet and you have imbibed the traits of that culture. No singular culture is the same as what it used to be. Diffusion has set in. Are we following what I'm saying? Do you understand what I've been saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay, diffusion has set in because of such development. No culture is exactly the same as it was in the past, even though some aspects of culture survived and others did not survive. There are some that survived, there are some that could not survive, there are some that are what that are blended with the existing culture. There are some that we blend with existing culture, we modify them. And that is what we call hybrid culture, hybridization. Hybridization, that hybridization is what Frank was asking last week. There's anything called mixed culture. It's a pity Frank is not in the class now. That's what we call mixed culture, hybrid of culture. That is, you add this and this culture together. You have hybrid children. That is what we call AFCAS, because they are from two different cultural parents. You get it? That is that. Then, like I told us when we started this afternoon, that there's what we call I culture. That's what we call I culture. And we have theories of culture. We have elite theory. You have theory from the Frankfurt School. You have Marcos theory. Then you have their criticisms too. Because like I said to us, culture itself, we cannot finish it in these 4 classes we are talking about. The culture itself. Because there is what we call popular culture. There's what we call consumer culture. Like I told us, we have subculture. You get it? So I don't know. Like I told us, I was meant to form a note for us, apart from the one I have here. But the system, somebody told me maybe I should take it to Gui Road. Maybe we have solution to it. Because if anything happens to that system, I'm in serious mess. So
Excuse me, sir.
okay, ma'am.
Sir, is there anything like, is it cultural heritage? Something like that?
Cultural heritage.
Cultural heritage, yes.
What is the meaning of heritage, madam? May I ask, start from there?
Your inheritance, what you inherited
So,
from your maybe parents or whatever.
so if you now add heritage to culture, what does that mean? Hello,
Okay.
madam.
Hello, maybe should I say that is cultural heritage now? Should I
And
say
what does
maybe
that mean?
value norms and maybe we inherited from our parents or whatever? I
Can you
don't know.
see? You just want to stress me to answer what you know by yourself.
I
Everything you
just
have
want
been,
to know maybe if it's part of what you are saying.
everything we've been talking about, they were what were passed down to us. They were what we inherited, and that is cultural heritage. Everything we've been talking about, the way we dress, only that we have allowed xenocentrism to set in, looking at other people's culture as superior to our own culture and see our own culture as being inferior. Majority of these things were being passed down. They were heritage, they were cultural heritage, they were things that we inherited. They were passed down to us through what I call what's it called now? Socialization. It is true, socialization, they were passed down to us. We inherited them from our parents, from this most senior generation, being passed down to us. But the question is, what are we passing down to our parents? I mean, to our own children. For example, now, what were passed to many of us are not what we are passing to our children. Let's start from our mode of dressing. What are being passed to us is not what we are passing down to our children. Our children are going in Western dress, Western way of life. And with that, we are killing our own inheritance. We are killing our own inheritance, what we inherited. And with so doing, we are killing our culture and we are populating other people's culture. And not only that, we are sending billions of dollars to them annually because we are buying what is their own culture. And people who were trained in our own cultural outfits are dying of hunger because we no longer support our own culture. That is the problem at hand. You may not know the multiplier effect that it is having on us and on our economy. You will not know the multiplier effect. Somebody was telling us, he said all of us in Nigeria, we should drop MTN and Vodacom and Airtel line. Because with that, our economy is dying. Do you know what MTN takes to South Africa every year? Do you know what Airtel takes to South Africa every year? If the whole Nigeria we are using Glo, do you know what that is going to, transform to in terms of economy? Because Glo is Nigeria. I don't have any Glo line. My Glo line has been blocked. But I saw reason in what that guy said. And same thing, we no longer support our own culture. We no longer support, the hairstyle that some people learn, and that's what they depend on as their source of income. We no longer do it. So many things that our cultural heritage, we have abandoned them. And other people, they are making so much money from us. The clothes you are wearing, the jeans trousers you are wearing, do you know how many dollars, pounds that are going back to them? And the tailor in Nigeria, they are dying of hunger. Many of them are riding keke. Many of them are riding bicycle, okada. It's not that they don't have work to do, but because we have refused to patronize them. Maybe with this we will learn. that part of culture is to promote what is indigenous. That is one thing that culture is doing, to promote something that is indigenous, that is of our own. That is of our own. I've never seen Lami tie apart before in my life, in these 7 years that we have been together. But I can't count the number of jeans she gets. Jeans trousers. And those people in Kaduna that are sewing kaftan, that are doing embroidery, she's allowing them to go in hungry. Lami, is it true?
Okay, that's not true.
But me, I know say it's true, Sha. Even if you say it is not true. Me, I know it is true. That is just part of culture. At least open our eyes to it. Because that's the only way those people can live. That's the only way they can also have something to train their own children. They don't want to steal. They have what they have the job, the land, the vocation, the land. But the challenge is that we are not patronizing them. We are not patronizing them. And that is just the problem we have. We need to change. We need to really, really change. You get it? So I said, in this material I'm holding here, that if society is composed of social institutions and activities, if a society is made up of social institutions, then culture defines the values and beliefs that underlie those institutions. Meaning that every institution we have in Nigeria, in our land, are being supported by the culture of the land. Let's mention the name of the institution that we have. How many institutions do we have? And name them social institutions. Name them social institutions. And if you look at each of them, they are standing on culture. They are standing on individuals' culture. Let me tell you the truth, the foreign education we adopted in Nigeria, it is not meant for our own development. It is meant for the development of those who owns it. There is one video that has gone viral many times. I received it again recently. And the man was telling the children, that Africans is only meant to supply raw materials. And we must not allow them to recover from it. They will submit raw material till the world will come to an end. That means the kind of education we are being given is not to bring development to us. The kind of education they are giving to us is to remain subservient to them. Because if the kind of education they are giving to us is for us to develop, we should have gone beyond the level we are now. They are the ones that are teaching corruption. I'm telling you the truth. So that we will not develop. So that's the kind of education they gave to us. You can remember when they came during the colonial era, the only thing they taught is how to write and how to read. Opari. So that you can communicate easily with them to make their operation seamless. That was the only thing they taught. How to read, how to speak English. That was the only thing they came to teach. And that's the kind of education they gave. Those people like Zeke, like Awolowo, they didn't learn law. They didn't study law in Nigeria. They have to travel abroad to study law. They have to travel abroad to study. Because the kind of education they gave us here is not for us to develop. I can tell you confidently that Africa is the house of development, of civilization. I can tell you that mathematics started in Africa. Medicine started in Africa. Medicine started in Egypt. But they've given the glory to another person. And that is what they call Hisponia or Hispo something oath. That's the name of the oath that doctors take once they are doing their induction. That is the name. That's the name they've given it. And it's very, very, very bad. So we need to support our own culture too. I told us last week that no culture is inferior to another culture. No culture is inferior to another culture. So please, let's do everything possible to support our culture. And please, let's do everything possible. You know, something is happening in my family now. My baby girl, anytime I'm, speaking with them at home, she just be replying me in Yoruba. I'm just like, this girl wants to learn Yoruba by force. But that is the truth of it. No matter how good we think we are in this foreign language, we cannot be as good as they are. We cannot be as good as they are. Are we as developed as China? Are we as developed as Japan? That they are using their own language. We are not as developed as they are. We are not. And if we have been using our own mother tongue to teach our children, they will have, we will have excelled better than we have excelled now. But we allow them, after colonization, we are now living in neo-colonization. We are not living in neo-colonization, doing things the way they are doing it, helping them to grow, helping them to continue to dominate us. Somebody once said that we should change, we should start from our airport. We should change our language of announcement to our indigenous language. Yoruba, Igbo, in every area you find yourself, if you are in the north, the language should be Hausa. They will learn our language by force. If you are in the west, the language in the airport should be Yoruba. Nobody will help you to promote your culture. Let me tell you that now. Nobody will help you to promote your culture. It's you that will promote your culture by yourself. It's you that promote your culture by yourself. Nobody will do that. Like we said here, if society is composed of social institutions, like the family, the education, the politics, the economy, and the cultural institution, the cultural institution is made up of education, religion, and mass media. Those are the 5 institutions in the society. Those are the 5 social institutions in the society. So if the society is composed of social institutions and activities, then culture defines the values and beliefs that underline those institutions. Activities are the form that they take, whether they are the family, education, religion, or even what is acceptable to eat and the way it is eaten. It is culture that will determine how those institutions will function. It is culture that determines how your family functions. It is culture that determines the value that is acceptable in the places of work. So you can see, even in the institution that we have, it is culture that determines how they will work effectively. Because those that will work in those institutions, they are from families, and culture define to them, dictate to them how to behave. When you talk about honesty, it is what is being learned in the family as a value. It is still culture that underlines the way everybody will function in those institutions. So you can see the power of culture in everything, in every institution that we have. That's the power of culture in everything. Even the way we eat, it is culture. Lami can tell us how pap is being taken in the north without their spoon, wooden spoon, and they drink it from the side. And you can't compare that to the way we drink pap. We use small spoon, we drink from the front. That doesn't mean that we are more civilized than they are, or they are backward. No, it is their culture. It is. It is when we come in contact with foreign culture. Some of them might have been, been taking it the way other people are taking it because they had a encounter with foreign culture through diffusion, acculturation, and assimilation. But I'm telling you, the way things are being done is being underlined or defined by the culture in which such institution is existing. I'm here to tell you that all the institutions are available in all societies. We have family in Nigeria, we have family in Ghana. But what differentiates this culture in different society, what differentiates this institution rather in different society is the culture of different society that determines it. The way family is being organized in Ghana is different from the way family is being organized in Nigeria. But we have all the institutions in all societies. So it is the culture in that society that determines the behavior of those institutions. So you can see how powerful culture is. In fact, this is a good example I'm giving you now, that all these institutions are universal. They are cultural, they are universal institutions. Is family universal? Hello? Is family universal? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Is religion
Yes, sir.
universal? Is religion
Yes, sir.
universal? All of them are universal. But are they being operated? Are they operating the same way?
No, sir.
What brought about the change or difference is the culture in which they are found. So that tells you how powerful culture is. It is the culture of the land that determines the way those institutions will function. That is just it. In Ghana, among the Ashanti, they have a way. They have a way. They among the Ashanti, what they practice is matrilineal, meaning that the children belong to the woman. There's nothing you can say in that culture. You will bear the name of your paternal grandfather. Sorry, your maternal grandfather. That is it. And that alone will change the way things are being done there. Because they practice matrilineal, they also practice matrilocal. The man is expected to move into the house of the woman, not the way it is being done in Nigeria, that woman moves into the house of the man. So it is the culture that determines, you can see the culture in that land determine how the family is being formed among the Ashanti. It is the culture of the land. So the child bears the name of his mother's father. It is the culture that brought difference in the family institution. I hope you are getting what I'm trying to say here. So culture underline dictates what happens in these institutions, in these social institutions. I think you got that correctly now. I think I can continue. I'm trusting God I'll be able to fix my system so I can just get you this material once and for all. So you can talk about your exam. The focus is on shared meaning, because the meaning given to everything is being shared. This way of looking at culture is sometimes described as the culturalist view, where the stress is on interpreting the meaning of culture that is lived. The investigation of culture and dynamic of this shared meaning has come to be central concern for sociology. However, a second definition of culture has also been used by sociologists, and this originates in the social anthropology and the work of Claude Levi-Strauss. Claude Levi-Strauss. This see culture as a social practice where communication is central activity. This communication can take many forms. For example, verbally in form of language, but principally takes the form of the signs and symbols which create shared meanings. You know, we have shared meanings in symbols. Among different groups, different signs mean different things. And it's a way of communication. There are some people in the way they shake, You know where they belong to. All these secret
Hello,
courts.
hello.
Ma,
I don't understand about this cloud leopard definition.
I didn't say leopard, yo.
I didn't hear
Chiamaka.
you. I didn't
Why
hear you. That's
you
why I'm asking, though. I didn't
can't
hear
spoil
you.
the name of the man? Call him name. Leopard.
Sir, please, you can just tell me.
Oh
That's
yeah,
why
let
I
me
thought.
spell cloud for you. Cloud, Claude.
Yeah.
Then his name is hyphenated, is a compound name. Levi, hyphen, you can spell Levi now.
Yes, sir.
Then hyphen Strauss, Levi Strauss, Claude Levi Strauss. And the
Strong.
Strauss is Strauss, Strauss.
Okay, sir.
Can I pronounce the name now?
I will try, sir.
Yeah, try me here now. Make you no call and leopard again.
Cloud Levi Strauss.
And now the thing where I thought be that now I can't call and leopard. Your sins
Sir,
are forgiven anyway.
please forgive me. Maybe the definition again. I didn't really get it.
Okay. This
Thank
C culture as a social practice. Levi sees culture as a social practice where communication is the central activity. According to him now, what defines culture is language, the way people communicate. And this communication can be verbal or non-verbal. So this sees culture as a social practice where communication is the central activity, full stop. This communication can take many forms. For example, verbally. I'm just trying to, it's only this definition I'm dictating to us. For example, verbally, in the form of language. For example, verbally, in the form of language, but principally takes the form of sign, principally takes the form of the signs and symbols, but principally takes the form of the signs and symbols which create shared meaning. Full stop. Now, let me just chip in this, then we round up the class. I don't know if there's anything like that in Igbo setting. In Yoruba setting, you can give something. No, in Yoruba, it is called aroko. They call it aroko in Yoruba language. You can give something to somebody else to go and deliver to somebody. And the person who is receiving that object will get the message you are passing across. You get the point. In fact, they can give a death sentence to somebody that go and give this thing to the person you are giving it to. And the message that is being sent is that this person that is bearing this assignment must be killed. But because the person who collected that message is not part of that group, it will not understand the message. That is essence of symbols. There are some things you will see with people. Symbol, one thing you see them, they will do. You will understand what they belong to. Is there anything like that in the Igbo language? Signs that people, it might not be general culture. It may be a high culture. It may be a popular culture. It may be a subculture. It may not be a general culture. And with this language, We can say language can work for general culture, popular culture, culture of the entire people. But we still have some that belong to, subculture, popular culture, elite culture. They could have a way they speak. They could have, you understand? So this is what Claude Levi-Strauss was saying, that this is more of culture communication is the central activity. By the special grace of God, I believe I will have set to my laptop and send the material to, what's it called, to Lami. And if I cannot do that, I will use my laptop, I will collect our email address and send to our email address. Because my tablet, I don't have laptop, I don't have WhatsApp on it, because the memory is very small. But I can send to our box into our email, so she will post on the class platform. Once again, I want to say I'm sorry for coming late. This is 3:35. So please bear with me. You're having another class immediately, am I correct? You're having
Yes.
another class by 4, Abby?
Yes, sir.
Okay. By His grace, we'll meet next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir.
Lami, I know you go talk.
Oga, bye. Happy weekend. Make I come collect weekend.
I fit come meet you. You know, say you be busy. So you take me go. You carry me go Roba, so me I go buy bread and buy other things too. So you do weekend for me.